Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the BongoHive FinTech Challenge Inclusive Insurance Edition information session. Today, we have speakers and individuals here to provide more information on the BongoHive FinTech Challenge and how you can apply. We're just going to allow about 2 more minutes before we get started with the session. So hang in tight. We'll get started at 15:05. And we'll get started with sharing information on the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. So welcome, everybody. We'll allow 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. All right, so welcome everybody to the BongoHive FinTech Challenge Inclusive Insurance Edition information session. If you're joining us via Facebook, you're welcome to the session. Feel free to interact with us and using the channels provided on Facebook, and we'll be able to answer any questions you have throughout the session. So once again, welcome everybody. I will be your moderator for today's session. My name is Sakai Fundafunda and I'm Innovation Lead at BongoHive. I'm going to quickly run us through the agenda for today's information session and then welcome our keynote speakers. So we're going to have first a keynote from Lillian Chilongo from FSD Zambia, and then Montanga Lindunda from the Microinsurance Technical Advisory Group, Namakao Ntini from the Pensions and Insurance Authority, and then we will hear from Simunza Muyangana from BongoHive. And then I'll come back in and share some information on the Inclusive Insurance Edition. Everything you need to know about applying, some of the benefits of being a part of the challenge, and where you need to apply. We will then open up for Q&A. So if you're joining us on Facebook, you're welcome to post your questions in the comments, and we'll be sure to get to those during our Q&A session. We'll then share some next steps and close our information session for today. At this point, I'll share a bit of an introduction on the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. So the BongoHive FinTech Challenge aims to support the growth of the digital economy and to increase access to financial services for all Zambians as a way to improve livelihoods. This is the second edition of the BongoHive FinTech Challenge, and this is an opportunity for FinTech entrepreneurs to develop new solutions that specifically address financial inclusion gaps within the insurance sector. And this information session, as I've mentioned, has been provided as a space to give guidance to prospective applicants. We're particularly excited because this edition of the BongoHive FinTech Challenge is being brought to you by FSD Zambia and BongoHive as collaboration, and joined by the technical advisory group, so the microinsurance technical advisory group, as well as the Pensions and Insurance Authority. And on that note, we're going to hear from our team at FSD Zambia to share a bit with us on financial inclusion and why the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. For this, we'll hear from Lillian Chilongo, who is the Director of Finance and Operations at Financial Sector Deepening Zambia. Lillian, you're welcome to turn on your camera and your mic and share with us a bit about Financial Sector Deepening Zambia. Lillian?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Sakai, for the introduction. And thank you for this privilege to speak as a first keynote speaker. So the acting director, the acting deputy registrar for insurance, pensions and insurance authority, Mrs. Namkau Ntini, the executive coordinator for microinsurance technical advisory group, Ms. Muntanga Lindunda, the director, entrepreneurship and innovation at BongoHive, Mr. Simonza Muyangana, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, those joining us through Facebook and other media channels provided. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for inviting me to give this keynote address for the Bongo FinTech Challenge information session. It is indeed an honor and a rare privilege to address the members of the insurance and FinTech industries. FSD Zambia, which is Zambian Financial Sector Deepening Limited, is an organization that works very closely with key players throughout the economy to ensure that all Zambians are financially healthy, but notably for the most excluded and underserved. We help rural families, women, youth, low-income groups in particular, but also other households in Zambia to understand and to access a wide range of sustainable, comparable, and affordable financial resources to ensure inclusive growth and a sustainable future. To expand financial inclusion, we collaborate with public and private sector institutions to make markets work better for all Zambians. FSD Zambia enhances trust between clients and suppliers of financial services by helping to bring people together, cultivate understanding, and also stimulate innovation and lower costs. In this way, all Zambians can learn about, choose, and use a wide range of financial services that have the most positive impact on their individual lives and that of their communities and the wider market. FSD Zambia enjoys the active support of financing partners that includes the UK Aid, CIDA, Sweden, Rural Finance and Expansion Program, RUFEP, Comic Relief, and Jersey Overseas Aid. The second edition of the BongoHive FinTech Challenge builds on our learnings from the first FinTech Challenge, where we had local FinTechs provide solutions that are relevant to the local market. In this year in particular, we are excited to decide to see how we can engage the financial inclusion industry to undertake the challenge from the supply side. That would look at bridging some of the gaps that exist in financial sector. While the banking services have grown over the years, we have found that the insurance services have fallen a little bit behind. According to the 2020 FinScope survey, only 5% of the Zambian adult population are using insurance products, and as much as 40% claim not to understand how insurance works, how it can also help grow financial inclusion, but also how it can enhance resilience when financial shocks come. The COVID-19 pandemic has given all of us a steep learning curve and reminded us all of how we need to prepare for calamities, and microinsurance, in our considered view, is one of the safeguards for ourselves. By placing focus on driving financial literacy around microinsurance, gender balance, and digitization, as FSD Zambia, we strongly believe the FinTech challenge is on the right path to solving some of the barriers to financial inclusion and financial health. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen and guests, we as FSD Zambia would like to wish all the participants the very best, and we're very excited to learn for the outcomes of this FinTech challenge. And we would like to thank also all our partner organizations participating in this challenge, the TAG, PIA, and the Insurance Association of Zambia, for coming along with us on this great journey. So as FSD Zambia, we would like to wish every success for this challenge. And as we said, I look forward to the outcomes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sekai.
Thank you, Lillian. Thank you for sharing a bit about FSD Zambia and the motivation on your end for the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. Now, speaking of partners and partner organizations, I will be inviting two of our partners on the BongoHive FinTech Challenge, representatives of our partner organizations. And first, we will have Montanga Lindunda of the Microinsurance Technical Advisory Group. Montanga, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Sekai. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this information session. And I'd like to acknowledge the Deputy Registrar, Mrs. Ntini, as well as representatives of the FSD Zambia team. And a big thank you to BongoHive for arranging this information session. And also thanks to everyone who has joined in. As she said earlier, my name is Montanga Lindunda. I'm the Executive Coordinator for the Microinsurance Technical Advisory Group, otherwise known as the TAG. So just to share a bit about the background of the TAG has been in existence since 2009, but was formally registered just 3 years ago. And all the while, we have worked closely with FSD Zambia as part of the supporting the drive for financial inclusion. So now specifically, the TAG is really a sector coordinator in the insurance sector, and specifically in the microinsurance sector. So we are a coordinator, and our role is in the industry is to facilitate dialogue among different stakeholders so that we drive the microinsurance in Zambia. And we believe that microinsurance, which is simply defined as insurance targeted at the low income segments of the population, is what we're really driving. So we are lobbyists, and we lobby for the environment to have a responsive regulation. If you think of the TAG, perhaps I could summarize it as playing three specific roles, which is to stimulate demand, to work with the suppliers, to strengthen them, as well as to work with the regulators. So that tells you that our stakeholder platform encompasses not just the private sector, which are the insurers, reinsurers, and other associations, but as well as the government and the Bank of Zambia as well. So at the end of the day, what we want to see is the microinsurance industry that is growing. And if I can give an example of areas that we have worked, say, with the PIA, I'm sure Mrs. Ntini will refer to that. Last year, the micro insurance principles and guidelines were issued. And these are really to guide the industry in the way that they should conduct insurance, especially insurance targeted at the low income population. So what we are saying is that the TAG wants to see, as well as the regulator wants to see products on the market that are inclusive, that are simple, that focus on the customer, and that also have appropriate distribution channels, because at the end of the day, insurance is a promise that is sold to clients. And our focus really is for the low income population, the underserved and the unserved, to be well catered for, and for products that are being churned out on the market to have a long-term investment and a long-term outlook. And which is why we have to facilitate different dialogue processes across industry. So in terms of our role in this challenge, which is a rare privilege and honor, we will of course take part in identifying the fintechs that will have the potential to take part in this challenge, and who will also be working closely with insurance companies. So the TAG will provide context or contextual information that will be required to develop the viable solutions, and the ones that will be long lasting, and that are also targeting the microinsurance clientele. Because as we know, when you are dealing with low income population, you have to be strategic in how you design, and you have to also ensure that they learn what insurance is really about before signing them up for a product. So we're really looking forward to this challenge and contributing our expertise, which will come through our members and the TAG board of directors as well. So I wish all the potential participants all the best as you apply, and expect the TAG to be with you throughout this journey. Thank you so much, Sekai, and thank you for everyone's time.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Montanga, and for sharing the fact that you will be on this journey with the fintechs throughout the challenge. You had spoken a bit about regulation, and the role of the regulator in developing innovative products and services cannot be overstated. And for that reason, we have also partnered with the Pensions and Insurance Authority. And I would like to invite Mrs. Namakao Ntini, who is the Acting Deputy Registrar of Insurance at the Pensions and Insurance Authority, to share a bit about the authority and their role on the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. Mrs. Ntini?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. And I would like to acknowledge my colleagues Lillian and Montanga, who've spoken. So allow me to just ride on the pleasantries that have been offered. So in terms of who the PIA is, the Pensions and Insurance Authority is the regulator of the pensions and insurance industry in Zambia. For the sake of those that may not entirely understand our role, in the financial sector, we do have three regulators. We have the Bank of Zambia that regulates the commercial bank, and we have the Securities and Exchange Commission that regulate the capital markets, as well as the PIA ourselves, who regulate the pensions and insurance industries. So as part of our mandate as PIA, we have a role of market development. And it is in this mandate of market development that we are able to support the market to be able to take up certain innovations that we think are necessary to contribute to the development of the industry. And so when you look at the insurance industry, basically, our role as a regulator is to ensure that we create what is known as the enabling environment, so that the players can then be able to have the comfort of knowing that they are supported by the legislative infrastructure in place, as well as support the customers who always want to know that there's a big brother that's looking out for them whenever they're actually interacting with the financial service providers. And so when we look at this particular challenge that we're launching today, or the information session that we're giving for this challenge, it sits very well with the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. And the PIA is one of the implementing agencies for the strategy. And if you have a look at the strategy, it has identified a number of gaps that we need to address. One of the key barriers to uptake of insurance, and I take cognizance that Lillian did give a snapshot of the results of the 2020 FinScope survey, it definitely does show that there's quite a bit that we obviously need to do as a market. And awareness remains one of the barriers that is actually there. So the question is, when you talk about awareness, it's not just a question of people knowing about the insurance products, perhaps even our visibility and the way we actually interact with the market. The other barrier that was identified is the aspect of access and client value. And we feel as PIA that this is where the FinTech challenge really comes in very handy to address some of those gaps that we have seen. And so we are of the view that when we innovate around the delivery of insurance products, the client value, we will invariably see an uptake of insurance, and we'll be able to meet our targets. So in terms of our role as a regulator in this project, we feel that the FinTech challenge offers the market a test and learn environment, and would like to encourage a number of players to actually take advantage of that, because this is a space where we can have a balance of expectations. We will be able to ensure that the financial service providers are able to think outside the box and come up with products that will be able to achieve their objectives as insurance companies. But also it's a space where we'll be able then to see whether there'll be positive outcomes for the customers. So as a regulator, we feel that it's an environment where the market should go out there and be able to test and be able to play around, for lack of a better word. Just to indicate also that the PIA is in the process of shaping its regulatory sandbox framework. And so we feel that the results of this FinTech challenge will sort of give us hints in terms of how we should frame our regulatory sandbox framework as a country, specifically for insurance market, because we know that there's one that the banking sector has done and one that the capital markets sector has done. And we feel that this opportunity to get into this challenge presents us with a very good space to be able to learn the outcomes of how we can then come up with very good underpinning sort of framework for the sandbox regulation. So how are we going to also help the market as PIA? Coming obviously from a regulatory institution, I know that a number of players may feel that, yes, we do not have the regulation that supports us. They could probably make a reference to times in the past when they've come to the PIA with an innovation that we seemingly haven't supported. And rightly so, because we have to create some rules around the playground for the market players, because we can't just allow the players to really just interact without rules that we are going to create. And so for everybody that really wants to have a feel of what it is to come up with a FinTech solution, the challenge that is being put up today is really the space where you can then learn. And the authority will be there to hold your hand and ensure that the whole essence or objects of the FinTech are actually achieved. Part of what we'll do as PIA is we'll also support the project through consumer awareness activities, because this is very critical, irrespective of the outcomes that we'll achieve here. If the consumers are then not taken on board and helped to see the challenge of what we're trying to achieve, they may not be able to respond when we expect them to respond. So it's an exciting place, and I think it's a space where a lot of entities out there that had a number of innovations that they felt that the authority did accommodate within the current regulatory environment. We feel that this is a very good space that you can actually do that. And just to also put out that we do have a new Insurance Act that is really, when you look at it, there's a lot of scope for development of the market, and microinsurance is one of the key issues that the new act has recognized. And so, yes, we would like to encourage a number of people to come on board, and as a regulator, we'll hold you by the hand to ensure that we all achieve the outcomes that we want to see in this challenge. So I think I'll take a pause here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ntini, for speaking from the perspective of the Pensions and Insurance Authority and the very critical role that you play in innovation, and particularly within the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. At this point, I'd like to welcome Simunza Muyangana, who is going to speak to us about the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. So sharing from the BongoHive perspective, how did this come about and why the Inclusive Insurance Edition? Simunza, you're welcome.
Great, thank you very much, Zakai. I'd like to say greetings to everyone. Definitely observe all the protocols that have already been shared. And welcome everybody who's come to have this conversation around what the role that technologies can play with regards to securing the livelihoods of people that very often, in our case, across the continent, uninsured, allowing for a market opportunity to make sure that security can be provided and that people can take leaps forward, understanding that there's a sense of assurance or insurance for what they hold dear to themselves. As has been stated here, COVID-19 over the beginning last year exposed us to what how detrimental shocks can be in the lives of people that are running business or living their livelihoods, and especially when we talk about low-income households, when we try to reach out, who make up the mass of our population. And we know that when they experience shock, so let's say when a drought happens and a farmer has planted seed and has planted all the seed that they have, meaning that this is a bulk of what they own that goes into the soil, and that does not germinate and come out to be able to yield a harvest. Or a family loses its provider, or a business within the community goes down. Unforeseeable and uncontrollable expenditure to try and recover then takes place, or illness, if they are not able to go to hospital, then takes them away from being productive, definitely having a large impact within the whole families, as opposed to what we normally see sometimes as an individual in other classes. And this can be quite adverse on the societies and the families, and can spread quite widely in that. And this is largely because, to one part, whilst people need to learn about insurance products, we also need to address the fact that access is something that is very, very important for them to be able to do. Access to somebody who can give them information, so access to how they can make the payments, access to how they can access a cover when they experience shock. And also then it also comes down to affordability. So the question we ask ourselves is, can digital technology play a part in addressing these pain points and making sure that the skill that exists amongst insurance providers, the wealth of knowledge that exists amongst insurance providers in designing products, in designing and managing assets to ensure that when shock happens, they are able to provide cover for those that are experiencing shock, can reduce the costs that it takes for them to provide access to this, or to design products that become affordable for the rest of the population. And we know that this is something that they have been trying to do over the years, and that's why working with the partners that we have brought together on this challenge has afforded us the opportunity to gather together, to put our heads together, and to think through how we can invite like minds amongst the fintechs and the insurance companies to work together around leveraging technology towards making sure that these products and services are available to hopefully everyone in the country. And we want to be ambitious, and in our hopes that those that will be able to, the customer that we're looking at is not just the customer in Zambia, but that the products designed will also reach beyond this continent. Because we know that other than countries like South Africa and Morocco, a large part of Africa still remains underinsured. And by mitigating the negative shocks in Zambia, we hope that models can be developed that also mitigate negative shocks in other countries, in neighboring countries and countries around the world. But we can also reduce the financial responsibility that weighs on just one person whenever a shock happens, or the members of the family when shock happens, but that there's a level of cover that happens that addresses these needs, and so that there's a level of business continuity that happens. People can get treated within good time, and also that people can pick up their lives even after drastic shock, and still be able to complete their education and move on and continue to become members of society that build this country into the nation that would like it to be. So as these things get addressed, we hope that we are not only just looking at how do we extend current models by the use of technology. I hope that the regulator will allow some level of courage amongst the businesses to be able to also look at different business models, whether they're looking at peer-to-peer models that allow people to contribute together towards premiums, but in a model that understands that it's not the group that needs to get the payout, but there are possibilities that it's only one or two that might suffer shock at a time. But then that's also, or on-demand insurance, when we know that as models are beginning to change and people are beginning to share assets, and people are beginning to hire assets that they can use in their businesses and then give them back, that they can be able to pay for insurance for that short term, for example, in one. Also looking at index levels of cover that are other models that can be explored. And we've always believed at BongoHive that we work with great minds building viable solutions that will change the world. And the great minds that we have said are the people that are building the startups, the experts that have got the knowledge that can come together with them, and then the investors and the mentors that will get there. And this platform will avail all of this towards the people towards the fintechs and the insurtechs that decide to participate in this challenge, working with the esteemed group of companies that have taken on the chance to explore new opportunities, and to make sure that we finally get to address the opportunity to ensure that people can reach the best people can achieve the best of their potential, knowing that the risks that they take, that the calculated risks that they take are well covered, and that they can reap the reward for growth, and with a good cover and with good hindsight, and with a good wind behind their backs, provided by able insurance. So partnership is going to be key, and will always be something that works. And we're excited to have everybody come on board and to see people participating. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Simonza, and sharing the ethos behind the BongoHive FinTech Challenge, and the role that digital technologies and digital innovation can play in addressing some of the most pressing challenges we face, especially during an era like we are in at the moment, where we see uncertainty and volatility. And at this point, I'm going to be taking us through the Inclusive Insurance Edition. Some elements you need to know before you apply, and this is to fintechs, some of the benefits you can expect to receive and the process, as well as key program dates and where you can apply. To start with a bit of background that has already been shared in some part by the speakers, Simonza, Lillian, Namakau, and Montanga, But I'll go a little deeper into it by sharing specifically on the Inclusive Insurance Edition. Now, this edition of the BongoHive FinTech Challenge, as I previously mentioned, is the second edition of the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. And it is open to early and growth stage entrepreneurs that are looking to scale. So they are in the market and looking to scale existing solutions. These fintechs can come from a variety of categories, but at this point are looking to solve for financial inclusion gaps within the micro insurance sector. The BongoHive FinTech Challenge will be implemented through three main phases. The first being a sprint week with a business focus, so a focus on business modeling and customer discovery, and then a coaching phase and a product sprint phase. And I'll go a little bit into detail about these two. And following the sprint week and coaching, 2 winning ideas will be selected. And these are the ideas that show the most potential for scalability, for traction, for impact. And these will be taken through the product sprint phase, where they will receive technical support towards the development of a prototype. And I'll walk us a little bit through this process. So as we were beginning the BongoHive FinTech Challenge Inclusive Insurance Edition, we spoke to a variety of players, some of whom are on the call today, from the authority, from the technical advisory group, from the Insurance Association of Zambia, and insurers within this field to get a better understanding of some of the challenges that they're facing in developing customer-centric products and services. And based off of that, identified some key challenges. And what will happen during the BongoHive FinTech Challenge is the fintechs that are selected, so we are selecting 5 fintechs to participate in the challenge, will explore the potential of an insurance product or service idea by validating the market and then testing all assumptions during this period. This will be characterized by 5-day virtual sessions. And the beauty about the BongoHive FinTech Challenge and this specific insurance edition is that the fintechs will not be going on this journey on their own. We've heard already that we will have the authority participating, that we will have the technical advisory group providing the needed support to test and validate. But on top of that, we have also recruited 5 insurance companies that will provide a sounding board and act as early adopters to the solutions that will be developed as part of this challenge. So throughout the business modeling process, we will have both the fintechs and the insurance companies going through this process of validating and testing assumptions. Following that, what we believe is critical to fintech and startup success is coaching. So this is coaching in this edition by insurance industry experts, including the PIA, the TAG, Financial Sector Deepening Zambia, as well as other partners of BongoHive, the authority, the Technical Advisory Group, and FSD Zambia. Following the coaching, as we do in our challenges, we will have a demo day, which provides an opportunity for the 5 fintechs that would have entered the challenge to pitch their solutions to an esteemed panel of judges. Once their pitching is done, 2 winners will be selected, and these will move through to our product sprint phase, which is the final phase of the BongoHive FinTech Challenge Inclusive Insurance Edition. During this time, both of these winning teams will be provided with technical support, software development support, to build a prototype. And this prototype will be tested by the 5 insurance companies that would have gone through the process with them, as well as other selected partners. The idea being that a prototype is developed that can go to market quickly, can be tested, and get feedback on what the customers actually need. So these are the 3 main phases of the BongoHive FinTech Challenge Inclusive Insurance Edition. I will now take us quickly through the challenge statement. So I did mention the fact that we had what we call an insight formation session, where we gathered experts within the insurance sector. We had experts within payments and banking. And from those conversations and getting a deeper understanding of the challenges that they face in providing customer-centric solutions, we identified 3 areas to be solved for by the fintechs that apply to the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. The first of these is the digitization of insurance systems. And as consumers of insurance products, as consumers of digital products overall, we understand that this could be a challenge. Specifically with insurance, we understand that insurance processes remain largely inefficient and ineffective, particularly with regards to client onboarding, collection of premiums, payout of claims, and agent misconduct. The challenge statement here becomes, how might technology be used to optimize insurance processes that address client onboarding, collection of premiums, payout of claims, and agent misconduct? The expectation is that any fintech that would be applying to the BongoHive FinTech Challenge would be looking at this specific challenge statement. How might we use technology to do that? The second challenge statement developed through the process, through the insight formation, was education on insurance. The problem here is we see that a lack of insurance awareness has been one of the major barriers to the uptake of insurance products, regardless of how customer-centric they may be in terms of design, pricing, and distribution. And according to research findings, over 40% of adult Zambians have not heard about insurance, let alone its value. We see that this presents a significant challenge, but also a significant opportunity for scale. And even among those that have some basic understanding, there exists some myths and misinformation that must be dispelled. Insurance products remain the least consumed from a long list of financial services and products. The question that we're asking for fintechs to solve for here is, how might we leverage technology to educate the masses about insurance in order to increase the uptake of insurance services? And finally, we're looking at inclusive products for women. This came up quite a bit during our insight formation sessions with the various experts that we spoke to. And the problem here is that we see that current social cultural norms and income distribution disproportionately disenfranchise women who remain underserved and underinsured. Further to that, we see that insurance products are largely gender neutral and do not take into account the specific needs of women. Our challenge statement to fintech applicants is, how might technology be used to encourage the uptake of existing insurance products by women? How might technology be used to design thoroughly thought out, context-specific insurance products for women? So these are the three main challenge statements that we're looking for fintechs to solve. And fintechs can come from a variety of sectors and categories, but must be looking to solve for these three: a digitization of insurance processes and systems, providing more education or awareness on insurance, and providing inclusive products for women. I'm going to quickly walk us through how you can apply to participate in the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. And you can visit the BongoHive FinTech Challenge website. I'll ask our team to share across our social media and here on our call the link to apply. So it's www.bongohivefintech.co.zm. So you can visit the link, take a look at our challenge statements in depth, why we developed the BongoHive FinTech Challenge, how you can participate, what you can gain from participating in the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. I'll then share some key dates. So our application deadline for the BongoHive FinTech Challenge is the 27th of August. So we have about 2 weeks in which to complete your applications. We will be selecting participants and communicating on the 3rd of September to successful applicants. We will go through the business modeling phase between the 13th of September and the 17th of September, which will be followed by coaching in the 3rd and 4th weeks of September, and finally our pitch day on the 13th of October. As I mentioned, the selected winning teams will be taken through a product sprint with support from the BongoHive Consult Tech team that will help them in developing the software required to develop a prototype. And this will be done from the 26th of October to the 17th of December. At this point, I'm going to open it up for any questions that we have. To ask your questions during this time, please make use of the Q&A section. You'll see this between the participants and share button if you're joining us on Zoom. If you're joining us on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, please comment, and your questions will be shared with our panelists. At this point, I'll ask for our team to share any questions that we have in the chat, as well as in the Q&A section. Cholo, if you could let us know if we have any questions coming in from Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. If you joined the session late, you will find a recording of this information session on our website. So the link to the website has been shared in the chat, as well as on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And you can go back to the recording to hear from our partners and hear more information on the BongoHive FinTech Challenge Inclusive Insurance Edition. You will also find links to the benefits, some of our frequently asked questions. All right, so we do not have any questions. So I'll go back to our key dates for everybody. Just as a reminder that our application deadline is the 27th of August. So for all our fintechs that are listening in, that have joined our session here, please ensure that you have completed your application by the 27th of August and at 23:59 hours on Friday, the 27th of August, 2021, to be considered for the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. Once again, I want to say thank you to everybody for joining our information session. As a note, we will have information provided on the website. So that's www.bongohivefintech.co.zm, and there you can find our application form, as well as more information on the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. I see here that we've just got a question from Mwape. Your question is, so the main essence of the challenge is to come up with an app and solutions faced by people. In essence, Mwape, that is correct. We are looking for digital solutions that address the three challenges that were presented. The first is inclusive insurance products for women. It is education, or creating more increased awareness on insurance products and services, and digitizing processes and systems within insurance. So we're looking for fintechs to provide solutions, so digital solutions to these three challenges. Mwape, let me know if that answers your question. Fantastic. Thank you for confirming that for me, Mwape. I'll do one last round of a check. Do we have any questions coming in from Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter? All right. Once again, thank you everybody for joining the information session. But one last time, you can find the recording of the information session on the BongoHive website, as well as on the BongoHive FinTech Challenge website. That is www.bongohivefintech.co.zm. We will share links across our social media so that you're able to come back and find out more information on the BongoHive FinTech Challenge. Good luck to all of our fintechs that have already started their applications or thinking about applying. We look forward to having you in the BongoHive FinTech Challenge and building solutions to some of our most pressing challenges within the insurance sector in Zambia. Thank you to our panelists, Lillian from FSD Zambia, Montanga from the Technical Advisory Group, the Microinsurance Technical Advisory Group, and Namakao Ntini from the Pensions and Insurance Authority, as well as Simunza Muyangana, our Director of Entrepreneurship and Innovation at BongoHive. Thank you so much for being present and for speaking during our information session. I think we have one more question here, but thank you so much for one more comment. Thank you so much for being present. I'll ask our panelists to say, give 30 seconds to say a quick last word to all of our attendees and anybody joining us on YouTube before we say goodbye. And we'll go in the order in which we spoke. So I'll invite Lillian, last word for our would-be applicants, and then we'll hear from Montanga, Mrs. Ntini, and finally Simunza. Lillian, do we have you still on the call?
Sorry, Sekai, I didn't realize that I was still muted.
A quick word for our applicants.
So from FSD Zambia, we are very excited for this FinTech challenge for microinsurance products. And we look forward to all the great innovative ideas that will work towards addressing the gap in the insurance service market as has been identified. So, we as FSD Zambia, again, look forward to creating a market that works for everyone. And this is meaning the low-income households especially. So that is really our challenge to the supply side. Thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you. And Montanga?
Sorry. Thank you for the session that we've had. And as a TAG, we're really looking forward to the innovation that will come out of this challenge because microinsurance is really dear to our heart. And looking at the times that we're living in and the changes that have occurred in the last 2 years, we also have to innovate in this sector. So I'm really excited that we are part of this and look forward to the outcomes of this challenge. All the best to all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Ntini?
Thank you very much. From the PIA, we definitely welcome this challenge, and this is really a call to all the insurance companies out there that are probably still on the fence. They haven't made up their minds in terms of participating in the challenge. Would like to encourage you to participate because we feel that it's a good opportunity, like I earlier indicated, to have to be in a test and learn environment. And as PIA, we're of the view that the outcomes of this particular challenge will help shape some of the regulatory, frameworks that we all need to come up with at the end of the day, because we do have a new piece of legislation. So it's really going to be a very informative process. And please go ahead and take up the challenge. It won't only give you a very good, a feel-good effect in terms of participating in this challenge, but we really think that it's an opportunity where we can innovate as a sector and really make a positive contribution, because we do have a target that we need to achieve when you look at the milestones that are set out in the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. And I really think that the issue of access and the delivery of our products is something that we've had a conversation about as a market. So it's a very good opportunity to really think outside the box and make a very resounding impact in terms of the solutions that we're able to offer from an insurance point of view. So thank you and good luck to all the participants.
Thank you, Mrs. Ntini. And finally, Simunza?
Great. Just like to say that if you build products and services that people love, you're assured of customers that will stay with you for hopefully for forever, for as long as they love them. This challenge offers you the opportunity to work with the consumers and the customers in person, and to get to know them, to get to know their lifestyles, and to get to know their needs, and then to design your products around that. But also to, if you can help them to secure their to get towards what they're passionate about, to help them to achieve their goals, understanding that what is dear and near to them is secure whilst they do so. This is a service that you will not only have gain a positive impact from, but definitely can build a great business around. And the opportunity here for you to partner with an institution which has the muscle, and to use your ability and your agility as a startup to get into the market, forms a partnership that allows you to do amazing things. So I encourage you and to be bold, to take on the challenge, and to build products that people love. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Simonza. So once again, we invite you to apply and to participate in the BongoHive FinTech Challenge Inclusive Insurance Edition. Thank you, everybody, for joining our information session today. For any questions that you might have, please feel free to reach out to BongoHive across social media, as well as on the BongoHive FinTech website. That's www.bongohivefintech.co.zm, and we'll be sure to answer any questions that you might have on the challenge. All the best to everybody that will be applying, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.